What about children's health in India? How is it improving? Is it getting worse? It is not a very good picture. If you just look at some of the data on that by Arvind Subramanian, Indian children are suffering still. Look at anemia. In the 10 years 2005 to 2015, it was coming down from 65% of children to still 55%. But now, in the last 4 years, anemia has gone up terribly. That's awful. Moving on to another bit of data that Arvind's about, stunting. It's a very, very important issue around the world. And it was coming down from 40% to 30% of children are stunted. Now, it's flat. It's not going down anymore. It should be down to zero at least, or near zero. Diarrhea. The trend was downwards, and now it started going back up to where it was, 14 years ago. That is really, really, really disappointing. And finally, if you look at ARI, acute respiratory illness, again, it was coming down. It's going back up or flattening out again. So, Arvind, this is fascinating data that you brought forward, because for all the economic, I just say GDP and you can talk about all that, but in reality, this shows how is it affecting one section at least of our society, children.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I think that, these data show, I think broadly, Prannoy, that, firstly, I think we should be careful and fair and say, the new welfareism that you showed is all because the government has taken the lead and the government is taking, putting in a lot of political capital into it. All these things that you show, the child in health nutrition, it's a combination of what the central government does or doesn't do, what the state government does or doesn't do, and most importantly, is the economy dynamic and booming, which is providing income and purchasing power and consumption to families, which also then gets translated into better health and nutrition outcomes. And to me, what these numbers suggest is that the health of the child, the nutrition of the child, has been set back in the last few years. And we have to still investigate why that's the case, because take something like stunting, it was coming down remarkably, and then now that trend has reversed itself. So I think the question to ask is, apart from all the specific things on these specific measures that the government is or is not doing, what about the general, is there enough dynamism, economic opportunities in the economy that's lifting people, providing the income and purchasing power? And that's where I think this government has fallen short.